Big data and analytics has been a main talking point at CommunicAsia this week, and a session was held involving such giant names as DBS and MasterCard. One of the people on that panel was Craig Thomas of Calix. Craig, what for you were some of the main talking points in that session?
Well, I think it was interesting to have service provider community as well as financial organizations talking about big data and analytics. We know that the finance groups have been using that data for some time, but service providers are using it faster and faster and more from their perspective. And there's some real significant parallels with the lessons that they've learned from a financial organization as well as service providers are learning now with how they're using analytics.
What sort of parallels? Give us a bit more detail.
Yes, so first and foremost, there's a lot of these organizations that are now centralizing their data and analytical functions. Senior organizations with the ability to gather all of the information from one central point. What's clear is there's a need, before you start collecting all the data, to be able to understand what are the separate functions inside the organization's needs from that data. So there's no point just giving one big spreadsheet that marketing's going to use, that support's going to use, that operations and planning are using. They have their own needs and they have their own language that they're going to use it from. So to be able to actually understand the needs from those functions and to plan before gathering the data, so it's presented to them in a language that they can physically use. So from our perspective, we're helping service providers with their analytics and the data that already exists in their network with Calix cloud functionalities. So we have operations cloud, planning cloud, marketing cloud, and we deliver the data for the service provider so those functions can make the most of it. It's in their language. So that's really important, first of all. Secondly, we're also seeing that the analytics and the data that's being collected cannot be intrusive. The customer doesn't want to know that you know everything about them. So what's really important is that you use the data at the time that the customer is going to see the benefit. When is their pain point? So being able to understand exactly what they're using the services for, so in a service provider from a video perspective, a data perspective, and to deliver them a targeted message when they're feeling the pain. That's when the data has its most benefit. And that's exactly what we're doing with Calix Cloud and specifically cloud marketing.
And you've been talking to quite a lot of service providers this week.
We have. This is a great show for us in the Southeast Asia region and actually across the whole of Asia. It's a big show. So some of the largest operators here in Southeast Asia have been on the Calix stand. We've enjoyed it. And analytics and Calix cloud services has been seen as one of the major differentiators. That's why they're coming and seeing us. They want to differentiate. They want to increase their ARPU model. They want to become more efficient. And I think every single major service provider in this region has come to the show, and we've spoken to them about analytics and Calix Cloud and how that makes them more efficient, but specifically differentiate from all of the competition.
Well, that's really good news. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.